Okay, hi Kentucky All-Staters. So this is a little bit of demonstration and discussion here on expression within this etude. So my version, I'm actually using, well, I'm playing from a copy, so I don't have to always get my book out, but I'm playing from this edition. Most editions are pretty similar, but there may be some different things on the All-State. Mine says at the beginning here, it says ben tenuto, well sustained. And then in measure 3 it says express, 2 S's dot, espressivo, right? As if we wouldn't be expressive all the time. I don't know. Why would it say that? So anyway, like, consider these kinds of expressive markings anytime that they're in the music. I've judged All-State before. I am not slated to judge this year. If they call me, I won't tell you. I doubt I'm judging. I don't know. Anyway, when I do judge these things, in terms of an interpretation on expressive playing, like, that's important to be expressive. But also when you're younger and learning and trying to really rise to a higher level in your high school years of flute playing, sometimes, like, your taste in these things is not yet refined. And it's hard to decide for sure, like, what exactly is tasteful expression of this 19th century flute music. And you kind of get there by listening to it. So I would encourage you to listen to lots and lots of other music by Andersen. There's tons of his flute music. Just put his name into YouTube or Spotify or wherever. So when you're making a phrase, we want it to be fluid, well sustained, it says here. So make it move forward. Try to make the music move. So how do we do that? Partly we do that through vibrato, that's spinning. Partly we do that through dynamic, that is sort of growing a little bit. I have this word I call it phrase dynamics. What does that mean? Like, I've never heard anybody else say this. I just say it. Phrase dynamics is like the little kind of nuanced changes in dynamics that you're going to make when there's no dynamics indicated other than it says to play piano. It says play softly. It's gentle at the beginning. So play with a gentle attack. Anytime you're using the tongue here in this first, 5, 6, 7 measures or so, we stay within 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6 measures, we stay sort of piano. So be gentle with the attack, with the articulation. Be gentle with the vibrato. You don't want a real vigorous vibrato. That's weird, right? That sounds weird. We don't want to land on every beat. We want to count carefully. I hope you already watched the video on the rhythm and subdividing. You got to do that first. And then you can be a little freer with some of these rhythms, with what we call rubato, an Italian word that comes from the word to rob. We sort of steal a little time here and give it back there. We're not changing tempos. We're not just making a cello rondo and getting faster. We're not just getting slower. We're sort of pushing and pulling. But you can't really do that until you can play it metronomically kind of perfectly. And then you depart from that in a very kind of proportionate way, if that makes sense. Come have a lesson with me and we'll talk about that sometime. Okay, so another thing we don't want to do is like to hammer every beat. As you try to stay steady, try not to do that. Try to have it make a lovely phrase shape. Usually there's a rise and fall in the line. Look for those things. So as we go on to the part I have not gotten to yet, I guess it's measure 5. Oh, I cracked a little, sorry. But you notice the peak of the crescendo is on the lowest note. That's hard on flute. If I'm judging, I'm going to be very impressed with the students who do that, right? Because it won't be very many. It'll be a small percentage of students who really, truly make the crescendo down towards the lowest end of the flute. So if you do that, you're going to stand out. And taper the ends of the phrases. Ready? And going on. And these trills, make sure your first finger's up on D. Even at the university level, I still have to tell people middle D, middle E flat, first finger is up. It will come out perfectly like a D if your finger's down, except the fact that it'll sound muffled and not so great. The better your tone quality gets, the more having that finger down will sound terrible. So if you don't do it already, make sure your first finger is up on middle D. You see the E trill to the F sharp? Now I have B written in my part here for big breath. I want to really inhale a lot here so I can make it as far as I'd like to make it for the breath, which is, you'll hear where. I breathe here sometimes. Or do I breathe there? Actually, I don't have a breath marked there. Do I breathe there? I can't remember. It would be okay to breathe there. I'd rather actually wait until here. You can make both of those work, which brings up a great question. Where do you breathe? You can breathe, I always say, anywhere that you can make it work. Anywhere that you can make it beautiful. You can breathe. We don't want to notice the breaths. We want the breaths to be part of the music. And that sounds very artsy, right? But the place where I love this breath here between the two F sharps at measure 15. Those F sharps are really two parts of two different things. There's this one idea of la ya da da dee, and then there's da da, and it comes to a nice ending. And so I love a little sort of lift in that place. So there's some ideas for you. Good luck with the expression. I encourage you to listen to this a lot. There's quite a number of recordings of the etude on YouTube, but like I mentioned, like there's quite a few that don't do the rhythm right, which kind of bothers me. I think that's a little strange. Not sure about that. You can use some artistic expression, sort of license to stretch and use some rubato. But I wouldn't use too much. It's not a super free, I don't know. That's sort of for debate, I guess. But that's my 2 cents. So hope that helps you. Good luck with it all.